safely ensconced in my vault once again, which means it is time to cast another casual esports amateur league game. I am TTU Phoenix, Ryder is my co-caster today, and we will be bringing you the match between Team Spare Parts and eBROS.
Yes, I'm very excited to see what these teams are gonna bring for us today. This is a match from the Noxian division, and we don't have pro drafts back up quite yet, so we're gonna be jumping right into the game here. And Phoenix, give me your insights on the lanes and how they're gonna go, the matchups, and what you feel about how the game's gonna progress.
So I've cast eBROS I think twice now, so I'm relatively familiar. They had a rough week one. I think they lost. And we are just rocking and rolling. So I'll quickly go over the teams. On the side of Team Spare Parts, we have the AMO in top on the Rumble, Monte Carlo Method in jungle on Jarvan the fourth, Minor Threat in mid on Talia, Omagu in ADC on Misfortune, and Whelming in support on Pike. On the other side, eBROS look like they're posturing for an invade with the Renekton set.
Hold up here. 1 second. Sorry to interrupt you. She does land the Morgana Q into the Ignite. They are going to get the Morgana flash, but she is in the Dragon Pit. Tristana jumps over the wall. She does flash. Heal for Morgana. Talia's trying to save her. Sets right beside. Flash from Morgana. Does land on Talia. Does it send her life away here? There is an EW from Renekton. Here comes Set. Flashing in, auto-attacking Misfortune, ending her life. That is 2-0 before 1 minute.
There is no pause in this game. I actually think that was really well, like, Omagu basically did everything perfectly to get out. He flashes into the pit and not back towards his red buff where they're always going to check. And so there's actually a moment of confusion where eBROS are like, wait, where did Misfortune go? Before Duranga takes the rocket jump and jumps the wall. Omagu takes the struts. We've got the extra movement speed. About the only reason he didn't live there was he pressed W immediately to fully activate strut, but then he got auto attacked, which turned it off. So if he'd actually just leveled the W, run, and then pressed W after getting auto attacked, he would have gotten the speed back. So Omagu does burn both his summons. Minor Threat goes down as well, but does not burn any. So he at least goes.
1 second here. We do have a level 2 gank coming in from Jarvan. EQ combo taking out Lissandra mid lane here.
And that was really well played by Monte Carlo because he knows it's a level 1 Lissandra. She does not have Glacial Path. She can't escape. So he doesn't need to immediately throw the EQ, which would probably be flash. He walks up to her, autos her with the red buff, and then goes for the EQ after she's already slowed and can't escape.
Do you see kind of a nice skirmish back and forth, Rumble into Renekton here? What is happening in the jungle? Here comes Talia around the corner, sets W, and can he get the kill onto Jarvan? Jarvan does steal the red buff. Lissandra coming in with a nice Q, flash over the wall from Talia, flash over the wall from Renekton, Wing Talia, ending her life with the Q.
Thunderstorm, I think, was a little bit mad, was looking for some revenge there, which he does get. I think that the play to go for the red buff wasn't terrible, but Monte Carlo Method, like, he just sort of sits there and auto attacks the red buff and eats the haymaker. He does get the red, but in the end,
nice straight bot lane going on here. Tristana does jump away, but Pike brings her right back in with a good combo from his Q here. Good trading top lane as well. And you do see Set posturing on the Scuttle Crab.
Did he? I think he actually stole Jarvan's blue buff because it's down and Jarvan doesn't have it.
Yeah, he did get the kill.
Both smites are down, so my guess is Scrambles just haymakered the buff, and that got the kill.
Wow.
So it's 4-1. It's a 2,000 gold lead at under 4 minutes for eBROS, coming off of the first and second blood and then the wins. They now have kills in basically every lane. Though, except in ADC, they haven't yet translated that to 2 CS leads. Tristana being ahead is really huge because I feel like she scales a lot better than Misfortune does, but Pike is never really out because of the amount of pop-off potential he has in teamfights with the gold from his ult. So just because Whelming is being pushed under tower doesn't mean he can't, hand out a ton of money in the late game.
EQ combo coming out from Jarvan. Set might be in danger here. He does proc the maximum W that he can. Is going to walk away. I'm not sure if he's going to die. Something's happening bot lane here, though. They're having a nice little skirmish back and forth. I'm not sure if anything's going to come of this one quite yet. No, it doesn't look like there's going to be any results here. But good trading from both teams.
Yeah, Pyke into Morgana is interesting because I used to play with a Pyke main who actually liked the matchup for Pyke. But it's interesting because Pyke has no way to break Morgana's shield because he doesn't do any magic damage. On the other hand, because Pyke does all physical damage, the shield offers no actual defense against the damage.
Here goes an engage on Pyke, and he goes in with a nice E4, getting the stun on Morgana. No black shield. I believe it was down and or on Tristana, actually, so they can pick up Morgana quite easily there.
Sugitan was the good support. He did throw the black shield onto Dufranga, but it means that he goes down himself. And even though Tristana's ahead, she's sitting on almost 1,300 gold. Actually, a little less than Misfortune. Misfortune obviously did not buy the second D-Blade. But even with the double D-Blade, Tristana's early game damage, if she doesn't have the all-in, where, she bombs, gets a couple shots, rocket jumps in, is not amazing. And so the early damage out of Misfortune means that they're able to get the kill, and Whelming really doesn't take that much damage in return. Sugatime didn't burn any some, so he is going to have those as an alternative for later. Top lane is being pushed in. It looks like a Jelly Roll is going for the Bork Renekton build, which is very threatening. I've played they're going for Dragon here, actually.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty quick cleanup. I'm not sure if they're going to be contested. I think that eBROS are just going to take this and walk away. Yeah, they didn't really have vision on it. Pyke did try and steal it with a Q, but Misfortune's pushed in, and Lissandra, Latilia did roam down, but wasn't able to get there just on time.
So we have an Air Drag next. So we're going to have either an Infernal Soul or a Mountain Soul. Based on each team, which do you think each team wants more? Right now, they look for the Scuttle.
Oh, there's a nice fight going down in the river here. Good Q that puts Pyke back over the wall on them. They do get a flash from Misfortune. Set will go down to Talia. Here goes a flash heal, saving Pyke's life. Misfortune is going to keep going in, keep doing DPS, keep chunking them down.
And notably, Pyke's drinking some potions. He's got his passive Gift of the Drowned ones. He got the heal there, the honey fruit. He's almost full health after almost dying.
Wow. And not after that skirmish bot lane in the river there was this quick skirmish top lane. And notably what to see there is that Renekton got the Rumble flash. That will be huge if they are going to be trying to contest for Shelly or trying to get a quick kill onto Rumble.
Especially because a Jelly Roll is about to have his flash up, so flash stun is a very real possibility. And Rumble is not very tanky. He relies on his scrap shield for defense.
Ooh, but the Misfortune striking right back. What damage that did to Tristana and to Morgana there. Morgana more so. She is 2 levels down from Misfortune, is really being punished for that.
Yeah, Misfortune, she went boost first. She doesn't have any defense. She doesn't have any health. She is very vulnerable to the damage from Omagu, and since he doesn't have his stopwatch yet, which really enables Misfortune, Morgana to use her ult well.
Ooh, nice Q from the Pyke. They do have a TP coming down. Here comes the Renekton. Here comes the big boy. He ults in. Pyke does go land on the E onto Renekton. He picks up the kill onto Pyke and is going to walk away. Great TP from top lane.
It's an excellent use of the not Ghost Water Dive, Phantom Undertow, to stun Renekton right after he comes out of the teleport. But notably, the stun duration scales off lethality on Pyke. It's one of the only CCs I know that actually the duration scales off something, and one of the only lethality scalings I know of. So it's not very long at this point. And so a Jelly Roll is able to use that flash to get the stun. Though Amo is getting a decent amount of farm, which is good because he was down somewhat, so he's going to be able to catch up a bit. And Rumble is such a great team fighter that I think it was a good play from Jelly Roll to pick up that kill, but it's also not terrible feeling if you're on the side of Team Spare Parts, because your Rumble got some farm, and backing, let's see what he's backing for. And, you know, it's only a 300 gold kill on the Pike, it wasn't a shutdown. Monte Carlo, nothing. You gotta bail out of here. You gotta run.
Uh-oh. That's a nice... He does still have the Tristana jump to safely get him away here, but he doesn't have his team around him. It was a very dangerous position he could be in. Oh, but Pike sees it now. Pike sees his team, and he's going in onto Tristana. Tristana sidestepping the Q and will avoid near death.
This is a very dangerous position for the Amo. He could easily be dope here. Set is extremely good at tower diving.
Did you get the pick onto Tristana there? Oh my word! Tristana ults Misfortune out of her own ult and sidesteps the Pike ultimate as well, running for her life. What happy feet does this Tristana have? She is zipping, she is zapping, no one can really touch her. Incredible performance.
Dude, Vranga has been a real powerhouse for eBROS in the past. Though the downside of that is because he's now forced out of lane, they're going to use the Ripto here, and that should confirm the tower for them. Even with all the armor and MRs built up, the damage from Shelly means that they're able to get first tower, they're able to get all the plates. And that means that Misfortune is actually now 700 gold ahead of the Tristana. 20 CS lead, she should be finishing her, just finished the Essence Reaver. You know, has the death, but is otherwise equal in terms of scoreline, and then received probably about 180 to 200 gold from the plate, since they were split 3 ways. You know, it'd be almost a kill's worth of gold. It'd be 270 perhaps.
Now we do have dragons spawning up right now, actually. And I think both teams are going to be posing to try and get it. And because they know it's not going to be another Cloud Soul, so Infernal or Mountain are both good. I think for either teams, Mountain giving both, like, your full team basically a bonus 400 gold in hell.
Yeah. Now, Minother really needs to back. In fact, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see him back here and then ult in.
Oh, here we go. Oh, they do get the combo onto Lissandra there. She does ult herself. She is in the Jarvan ulti. She flashes out, and Misfortune does ult over the wall, not able to proc and kill the Lissandra, but she does pick up Morgana here. Pike's running for his life. Jarvan's running for his life. EEQ's away. Rumble's standing on the front line saying, no more. You can't touch my back line anymore. We're going to be keeping you zoned out here. And I think they're just going to disengage, but the dragon is still alive. Will Team Spare Parts pick it up?
Yeah, Thunderstorm is able to use all of his escapes to get out of the pick there, which was a really good use.
But they're going back in. There we go. Nice. They almost had a nice pick there onto set. But they're still posing for another fight. They still want more. They haven't really finished up what they started, and they still have eyes on that dragon.
They see that Renekton is top lane. He's doing the tower and does not have teleport, so it looks like, yeah, so there's a full Ludens on the Talia now, so this should belong to Team Spare Parts if they just focus on the dragon again. It looks like eBROS are making the call to give it up. You don't really want to give both of the pre-soul drags, but if you give one, it's not a really big deal. When I'm jungling, I don't mind giving up one of the drags because it means that you're going to get 3 potential Infernal drags now, and both teams are essentially even in the race to the soul. So you're not feeling bad about giving that up. I do think... Oh, go ahead.
No, Infernal does seem very interesting on both teams here. Which one do you think is going to be really going to be focusing down, really trying to get that extra damage here? Because it does give that extra little burst to the front lines, but both teams' front lines are pretty bursty, with exception of the Rumble just doing AoE and overtime effects.
I think that it's a bigger advantage to Team Spare Parts if they get the Infernal Soul. I think that eBROS might have preferred a Mountain Drag because you have Renekton and Set, 2 big frontliners, And then Lissandra and Morgana are squishy, but need to be really close to the front line to do their job. And so having that extra durability and shield on your front line for them would be really good. Whereas the Rumble will benefit a lot from an Infernal Drag. It'll make the Equalizers just demolish anyone they hit.
Very well said. And we see Set in the enemy jungle there, trying to see if he can pick something off, but Team Spare Parts are really just going to collapse down, force Set out, and secure jungle for themselves.
The Amo uses the Equalizer there to clear the way, which I think is a smart play. He's 1v3. He's not really looking to fight here. His job is just to prevent them from taking tower as long as possible. The tier 1 will fall, almost certainly, but the longer he can keep it down, the more bot lane.
Ooh, nice chip damage onto Rumble there. He does flash away.
Good use of the Nimbus Cloak. Excuse me. The Nimbus Cloak does help him get out there after the Renekton finds him in the tri-bush. A lot of pings coming out in the Rift Herald, which is going to be started by Team Spare Parts. Set's passing to top lane. He might be there in time to contest it, but with Jarvan there, I don't think he will be.
They are going to be going down onto Rumble. He doesn't have flash anymore. There is no escape. Morgana Q coming out, securing the kill, taking out Rumble. Team Spare Parts are now currently on to Shelly. They do pick that up for Rumble's life. Where will they put it? Is the next question.
I would say mid. The second Rift Herald is more powerful than the first. It does more damage. And the mid tower notably has not taken very much damage. The top tower is a little over half health. And so breaking the mid tower is almost always the most valuable because it opens up a lot of pathways into the enemy jungle and gives them less position of safety when contesting for neutral objectives. And so it's going to be harder to take out because it is more health. It's a more strategically valuable tower than the top tower. So that's where I would look to use the Rift Herald.
I agree. It should be interesting, and we do have Dragon coming up in about 2 minutes here. I think both teams are going to be warding it out, really resetting, and maybe focusing on a couple picks right before the next Dragon.
Yeah, I think that Team Spare Parts should look to get Rumble into a side lane and keep him there until the Dragon, because he doesn't have a completed item. And Rumble's first few items, the Relays, the Leandries, maybe the Morello here, would be a decent third item, are really potent. Like Equalizer with Haunting Guise and Equalizer with Leandry's Torment are completely different. And you really would like him to have that Leandry's before the Dragon if you can. So I'd actually like to see the Amo group less and farm more, because he needs another 600 to 700 gold in order to get his Leandry's Torment.
Very well said here. They do still have Shelly on Jarvan. I think they might be trying to push up mid here and possibly even go for a first tier turret, trying to just crack open this mid lane. They do pick on to Tristana. She does flash away, and that will be huge for this next fight.
Whelming was looking for the ult there, but he wasn't able to get in range. They are going to use the Rift Herald here. The wave is already cleared, though.
Yeah, Lissandra Clear is actually really nice, and I think she's an underrated champ currently. She did get a couple buffs, and I think it put her in an okay spot as that mid-range CC mid laner.
Amo is firing off the Flame Spitter, trying to keep his heat up. As Rumble, managing your heat is very important, and it's very unlike other champions. For anyone who is familiar with the tabletop game BattleTech, Rumble is basically running triple strength Myomer. You want to keep him kind of hot, but not too hot at all times. And so firing your abilities to keep that heat up is an important part of playing Rumble.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. We got a fight in the Dragon Pit here. Set's coming in. He's trying to steal it. Massive Misfortune ulti there. Dragon's still alive. They do secure with the Renekton, taking it out with an auto attack. They are going to be fighting around. They're going to see if they can pick off more. There goes eBROS. Here they come. They get the stun off of Pike. They're going to be looking for more. Tristana's going to be hopping over this wall. Renekton's going to be looking for some extra food there. Rumble is in an awkward spot, but I'm not sure if they're focusing on him. No, they want the Talia. They're going after her. She procs barrier. Conqueror proc going out. Oh my word. Morgana coming in from the sideline, landing the Q, getting this kill for Tristana.
Yeah, the Buster shot there does confirm the kill. So it's a 2-for-0 in favor of. Okay, maybe it was a 2-for-1. I think Set may have died there, but has just respawned. Set flashes in to try to get in range. Excuse me, to stun the Jarvan, so that he can then try to steal Dragon. But he's actually hit by the Pike hook at the Bone Skewer as he comes in, which pulls him away from the Dragon. Jarvan goes down to the Renekton, who I believe flashes onto him, but crucially, Miss Fortune actually secures the Dragon with an auto attack before flashing into the wall. While the ensuing fight does go poorly, they do lose both Whelming and Minor Threat in the chase down. I think that you feel okay with that as team spare parts. You got the Dragon. The kills weren't on people who had bounties, so it's not a massive amount of gold that you're giving up. And you now have that permanent AD and AP, and you're a little closer to Soul. You're 3,000 gold down, but notably that's not that different from the start of the game when it was 2,000 gold. So eBROS have increased their lead, but not by very much. I do want to call out the build on Whelming's Pike. I don't know if I really like this here. I don't know if he needs Executioners, because it's not like there's a ton of healing outside of the Renekton on the side of eBROS. And the Warden's Mail, I would assume, is for Frozen Heart, which isn't a bad item on Pike. But a lot of times you see Pike support building into the lethality, because since Pike's E-stun and ult damage scale off of lethality, Pike's ability to provide CC and initiate and then get those execute kills, he's really tied to lethality as a stat. It was changes Riot made specifically to stop the tank Pike builds that people were seeing, because Pike does have very good base stats. And so he's left with a bunch of components and pretty minimal damage overall. Rumble, however, has finished his Leandries now, so those equalize are going to hurt a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see... Oh no, Whelming, no!
Oh no! Oh, but they warded it! They warded it, they're not going in, they know better. Good E away from Pike, good ward over the wall there, just to double check to see if they're going to do Baron or if it was a bait. Great ward, good call, and good disengage.
I think what actually happened was, as Pike, you get a little notice, an exclamation mark above your head when an enemy's within the radius around you where they can see you. So I think that even though he wasn't in the bush, he got close enough to Set, that Set was in the radius and could see him. He got the notice and realized, oh, I've been spotted, and immediately bailed out, which was the correct call. Because if he'd been hit by the Facebreaker pull there, that would have almost certainly been death.
Yeah. We do have another Dragon coming up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. This is going to be a big fight.
Yeah, I'm looking at the front line for eBROS. Jelly Roll has the Phage, but he's building into what looks like a Death Dance. With the Aegis of the Legion on Scrambles, he's also building Death Dance as opposed to Cinderbolt. He doesn't have his tier 2 boots. There are Merc Treads on the side of Renekton, but Renekton only has 1856 health. Set has even less. He's got 1775. He's almost independent in how much health he has. He now has 1876, so... but the front line for eBROS is not actually that tanky, because they're building these healing and sort of sustained damage items that give them tremendous survivability in a fight if they're doing damage. But if they get hit by, like, you know, the Talia knockback, if they're just slowed and kited out, they're going to go down without being able to absorb very much damage. So I think eBROS, if they can't engineer a good fight for their front line, are definitely in danger. Speaking of danger, Ammo takes a lot of damage there.
Yeah, a lot of big damage coming out from the Sanji. She does press her E in and then goes in for the W combo with the Q, which does a significant amount of damage with, I believe it was in 10.9 here that the Lissandra buffs did occur.
Yeah, they increased the AP ratio on our Q, and I think 10.7. They added 10% more AP. Looks like they know the
Lissandra. You're in danger. Can she get out? No, she cannot. Quick combos from all teams there. Even the Pike ulti going in just to make sure that Lissandra does not leave.
So they do lose the Dragon for it, but they now close the gold lead to a little over 1,000 because Pike did get the full cut value. So I think that was essentially like 1,000 gold kill right there. And giving up Dragon, I don't know if they knew that the Dragon was being taken. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a call to let it go.
Oh. Can't
Yeah,
quite catch that Crocodile. He's just going to E over that wall.
Able to slice and dice, or just slice, dice in the second half over the wall.
Flash out from Tristana there. She doesn't want to get combo, but she does! There goes Celia, massive damage coming out from her. Here comes another engage. Renekton set combo, very strong. Here comes Lissandra doing massive damage right around wherever anyone can see her. She does flash in, gets the kill onto Pike. They are looking for more. Oh, they're going to be disengaging and going to be resetting, possibly even taking a mid turret here.
They get a really good pick on Duranga. They hit the early hook to force his flash. They use the equalizer, which zones him, and then hit him with the Talia knockback. So that's a good kill on the ADC, and it is a shutdown. 300 extra gold going to Minor Threat, which is going to feel very nice in his pocket. But Set and Renekton come around the flank, and Set just showstoppers Jarvan back into Misfortune. Renekton comes in doing a bunch of damage, and I think the Haymaker probably killed both of them there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fight ends up going sour. Renekton has completed his death stance, so he is has extreme sustain, and is going to be really hard to kill as long as he has someone to hit. If he doesn't have someone to hit, he's a little tanky. Set did pick up the Bammy Cinder, so it looks like he's going to be going for the Cinderhulk next, which I like. It's pretty standard on jungle Set. He uses the Fire Nova well. He likes to have a lot of health. They're clearing up wards around Baron.
Yeah, there was something I wanted to talk about those wards here, though. You see where that ward, that Pike placed, right behind the Dragon's head. As you go in, that Morgana tried to hit the ward as well, but actually it aggroes Baron because of his character model. If you do it wrong, you actually have to walk in and really angle the camera better. So really smart ward by Pike.
Yeah, it's always tricky to kill those wards right behind Baron. If you're a tank, you can skirt the edges of the pit to avoid pulling Baron through Bammy Cinder. It requires a little practice to know like where to move, but you can do it. So Tristana's on 2 items now. She's got the Rapid Fire, she's got the Infinity Edge, so she's doing a good amount of damage. Misfortune's sitting on a lot of HP.
Oh, almost with the Morgana bind there. Not quite enough to pick it up, but even just the rocks that were laid down on the ground was nice chip damage onto Morgana, onto Tristana there. And I think they're going to be forcing down this chart, really cracking open mid here for Team eBROS.
Yeah, Tristana is one of the premier tower pushers in League of Legends. It doesn't require her to do much beyond have a minion wave to get some good damage there. So it's back to about a 2,000 gold lead. It's been pretty constant. I feel like that favors Team Spirit Parts a little bit, just because Renekton does fall off. His late game team fighting is not amazing. He does plenty of damage to squishies, but his issue is really target access. He only has 2 short-range dashes. He needs to hit an enemy with the first to get the second, and otherwise...
Oh, here goes Renekton in for a full combo onto Talia. She does not land her E off of him, and he is going to be just chunking her down with his AoE into Q, and he might be looking on here. He does have E up in a couple seconds. There it is. Slice and dice coming in, W in, and with a nice Q, spin around, takes the Rumble. That's a free Baron. I think they're going to be trying to just take it straight right now.
Yeah, the Rumble Equalizer combined with like the Talia ult would really be what prevents eBROS from taking Baron, because they don't want to be locked into the pit by the wall and then hit by the Equalizer. That could absolutely turn a fight. But with both of those threats down, and it's a 50-50 on the smite.
Oh, here goes Set ulting down, and then Jarvan is going to be ulting, trying to get Lissandra, trying to get trying to get Morgana. He does pick up Morgana though, but Tristana's just doing too much damage to the other members of the enemy team there and they're just gonna be picking up Baron.
Yeah,
they're just gonna take Baron.
Oh wait, Ammo's coming in. He's got the Equalizer available.
There goes the Equalizer. Now, is he
And
going to
they're
be
gonna
searching for them? No.
Yeah, Set's too low. Tristana's pretty low. They don't really have the health. Lissandra is very low. They don't really have the health to tank it. So they're going to back. They no longer have the equalizer now for the dragon. Amo notably does not have his hourglass yet. He doesn't have the CPR. He doesn't have the safety that stasis brings him. So he really needs that, and he probably needs a Morello as well because the amount of healing Renekton is getting is just crazy. That's a 6-0-6 Renekton. Yeah, it looks like Pike is going full tank. So they're going to wall them off. The Tristana jump
This might be a good engage, but Tristana flashes over the wall to safety to her Set. And Set's going to be coming in, ulting down onto Pike to his team. They take out Pike really quickly. The Taliyah combos Lissandra, taking her out. But there goes Jarvan from the Lissandra damage. Renekton taking the dragon, going in. Can they get the Morgana bind? She does flash away. Taliyah does live with her life. That was a 2-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, so Set locks up the Pike. And I think that this shows one of the issues with Tank Pike is that Pike never gains bonus health. Instead, he gains attack damage. And so he's built a fair amount of health, but he's not actually that tanky because he's only getting resists out of it. So he still takes a lot of damage there and dies. And like if you look at so the set goes down. Lissandra goes into the backside. It's actually exploded.
Reduce the Rumble. Smite down coming from Rumble. Rumble does dodge the Q. Does flash away back to his team there. Set's gonna take him down anyways. Nice Rumble ultimate. Here comes Pike. Nice Pike ultimate. Down goes Pike from the combo from Lissandra there. And Morgana did have a Q up and ready to just secure him down, making sure that Lissandra's going to be able to get the kill.
Yeah, and so this is probably... So Set's dead, so they shouldn't go for Baron, I don't think, just because the risk of Jarvan stealing it is too high. They don't have, you know, a Cho'Gath or something that is very good at securing the Baron. But they can absolutely use this time to control the vision around and try to push this top wave in. They're maybe looking for the Misfortune.
They might do, and there goes the Jarvan ulti into the MF ulti just to secure it. There goes Taliyah. She's able to just chunk it down as well. That Taliyah, I want to see a quick stat check on the Taliyah. I believe she has Dark Harvest here this game, right? Yes. Good combo from the Renekton and Lissandra to take out Taliyah as well.
So,
there might be more to come. Well, the Renekton is here. He is going to be fighting. He's just going to be trying to chunk down Misfortune. And so he does. Stopwatch down here. He is going to be still comboing the 3 members. This is a 1v4 exchange. He's going to just keep... He's still alive. He's still alive. He didn't die. He's out of there. Oh, he did die. The top from Rumble does take him out. Set does come in. Pick up the kill onto Jarvan. Tristana's in the bot lane, trying to take out Turd, trying to take that inhibitor, and she will.
Yeah, the issue you see there is there's not much anti-heal on the side. There is anti-heal on the side of Team Spar parts, but none of it was applicable there. Taliyah gets picked off early, so she can't use her Morello Nomicon. Rumble does not yet have a Morello. Jarvan doesn't have a Bramble Vest. Misfortune has an Executioner's, but she dies very early in the fight by getting flashed on by the Renekton. And then between the Death's Dance protections, the crazy amount of healing coming out of the Renekton, like, they're barely able to kill him, and he lasts for long enough that Set's able to get an answering kill there. He did lose his stopwatch, so I assume that's going to be for Guardian Angel, but it will take him some time before he has that kind of defensive stasis again. There's a lot of bounties on... oh, never mind. He just finished his Guardian Angel, so that's available right away. There's a lot of bounties on the side of eBROS, so I feel like Team Spar Parts should probably try to find a pick on one of them and get some of that extra gold. Because you have, like, Pike and Jarvan, who are characters who are really good at making picks.
Yeah, very well said. There is a larger and larger lead for eBROS. Oh, here comes a Set ulti. Gonna be ulting down Pike. Is comboing him. Pike does flash away. He was surrounded by Lissandra and Morgana there. Good call by Pike to save his life. But they do have Dragon coming up, and they are posturing at Baron.
I'm actually curious what the set ult with Pike interaction is, because... Oh no.
Oh, there goes the Morgana bind. There goes Set. There goes Jarvan. Oh, Tristana's in the backline, chunking them down. Misfortune does take out Morgana. Renekton's coming in, chunking out that backline, really providing that damage for his team. There goes down Talia with the Renekton, with the Lissandra. There's more to be had here. Set, Renekton, Lissandra, Tristana, big damage, coming in hard. Going to push down this turret.
A Jelly Roll TP, he's looking for the
the Renekton's just gonna end it. The Renekton's just gonna end it. He's done with this game. He doesn't want any more. He's just gonna be taking out these, with these super minions here, just gonna be taking out both the turrets. There goes the Tristana. They do flash, they do get the ace, they are gonna end the game.
And that's gonna be game 1 eBROS.
Very well. Very fun, very interesting game. High action throughout the whole thing. I wasn't ready. From start to finish, it was a battle. It was just going. Everyone's hitting each other. Everyone's doing damage. It was incredible. And Phoenix, I want your input. I started this yesterday, and I want to continue it for future games here. I want to know what your thoughts on the game, obviously, and as well as your MVP and ace.
So, I think I'm going to do ace first, and I think the ace I'm going to say is Omagu, the Misfortune, because he had a pretty rough start in that he, dies for first blood. I think Tristana also picked up an assist on the Talia there, and they were definitely being pressured in the early lane, but he ends up coming out of lane with a 20 CS lead and a 700 gold lead. So he really pulled back a bad lane start into a pretty good lane position. The issue he kind of ran into is that Misfortune has to stand still to do a lot of her damage in late game team fights because of the need to channel bullet time. And so it just made him too vulnerable to a Jelly Roll and scrambles getting onto him. And I think that maybe if they want to draft the Misfortune again, picking like a Poppy or a Braum with more peel might be a better pick. MVP, Sugatime had really good bindings, but I'm torn between a Jelly Roll and Scrambles. Like, Jelly Roll just kind of dominated lane and then dominated team fights, like was doing massive amounts of damage, tremendous healing, 1v2, 1v3, 1v4. Scrambles, I think I'm going to pick a Jelly Roll. Scrambles had really good initiation with the Showstopper, but a Jelly Roll was just so dangerous on the Crocodile that he just had such an outsized impact in team fights that he couldn't be ignored, and wherever he went, squishies evaporated.
I completely agree. Great game all around. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we get back, we're going into round 2 of Spare Parts versus eBROS. Hello and welcome back. We're going to go into match 2 between Team Spare Parts versus eBROS. But before we go into the game here, Phoenix, I want your thoughts on what you really liked about last game and what you expect this game to be like. Because for me, last game was heavy hitting, high action. I'm super hyped, and I'm excited to see what even level 1's gonna be like when I see these two teams collide.
Yeah, I really liked. I had a lot of fun with game one. There were a lot of back and forth fights, very close fights around objectives. Both teams drafted teams that were pretty good at the objective fight. A lot of explosive initiation. So I think I'd look to see them continue that. I think what I'd like to see from Team Spare Parts, because eBROS did win the first game, is perhaps some slightly stronger lanes, because I feel like both their solo lanes were a little bit passive, and drafting a stronger lane in one of those two might be good. Because one thing I found when doing team comps is you don't want to pick scaling picks in all lanes, because then your jungler doesn't have anywhere to gank, your lanes generally get pressured in. You usually want to have one winning lane. So it's up to them which they choose. It depends on player style, player champion pool. But I'd like to see them draft a little bit more aggression in the mid to top side so that they can get some leads there and then have their bot sort of meet that in the middle.
Very well said. And I'm super excited. We're going to hop right into game here. We got Team Spare Parts on red side, and we got eBROS on blue side.
Yep, give me one moment to get this loaded.
Hasagi!
Alrighty, we're back into game here. Phoenix, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'm not seeing what I see because my file's having a little trouble loading, but you go ahead and I'll see what I can sort out.
Sounds good. So we do have Renekton versus Maokai top lane. And so we do see Jelly Roll back on that Renekton. Last game, he was huge. He was dominated and borderline MVP of the game there. Very excited to see what these two are going to bring. Do really like the Maokai. Do really think he's a really good disengage and a really good tanky overall top lane pick. Also, so we do see the Ivern jungle coming out from eBROS versus the Sejuani. You don't see Ivern often. He is very interesting. He's very fun and interactive, especially for getting major objectives and getting major objectives really fast, really quick.
There we go. I'm loading in. Yeah, so Ivern's an interesting pick. He has a lot of freedom in jungle pathing because he doesn't require and cannot receive a leash. He's also a really good team.
Phoenix?
Can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yes, okay, sorry. I just had to get loaded up. I think it'll be interesting because Scrambles was doing a little bit more of the early aggression himself, and as Ivern, he's going to need to be more of the support.
Agreed. We do see Lissandra versus Corki. We did see a Corki yesterday, and he is pretty powerful and really strong. I do think he's going to be building a Morelos first, as we typically see in Corki mid lanes. It does spike pretty hard, and he does do a lot of damage. Going to pop.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
There we go.
Corki's definitely what I would call a more scaling pick, but he's a very safe laner, and he doesn't really require a whole lot of attention. He's hard to gank. He really just wants to get his Triforce, maybe a Mana Mute or an Essence Reaper, maybe a Hex Drinker, and he's good to go. It's one of the reasons why we tend to see him picked as a counter to Azir. It's not because of the fact that he's actually good into Azir, it's because he's safe, and he won't lose to Azir, and he'll scale about as hard as Azir.
So right now you're seeing a lot of just kind of back and forth, fighting up, but getting that scaling, and for Team Spare Parts, they want to scale. They have that scaling comp, they have that damage into the late game. But eBROS, on the opposite side of that, they do have a lot of early game pressure from the Renekton. A lot of great early invades you can get from Ivern to go into the enemy jungles, get into the enemy camp, and leave. And with Vayne being protected by a Nautilus, they could even scale to contest this scaling comp that Team Spare Parts offers.
Yeah, I do think the one concern from for eBROS is the Lissandra. Thunderstorm had a very good game. It's clearly a cover pick, but Lissandra is not what I would consider a hyper-scaling champion. Her damage is good, but she's not a Veigar. And so I think that if she falls behind, there will be a lack of magic damage on the side of eBROS, because Ivern is not a high damage champion. He's more about the support and the disruption he brings. And so I'd like to see some attention from Scramble's mid, both to shut down the Corki scaling and to make sure that Thunderstorm is able to do the damage he needs.
I agree. Now let's quickly talk about lane matchups here. Who do you think's gonna come top between Vayne, Nautilus, and to the safe pick Ezreal Sona?
Well, the thing in top lane is that Maokai's a little like Gangplank. He has the magical ability to lose lane to basically everyone. Ironically, not Teemo. He's very good in Teemo. But against an early game bully like Renekton, Maokai is just not that strong early. He really needs to get to level 5 or 6 so that he can get some points into his Q, because that's where most of his damage comes from. And the base damage on it is not very high early, but it's very high once you max it. It does 275 damage at level 5, which isn't far off some ults on, a 4-second cooldown. So I think that Monte Carlo basically should be top to avoid letting Amo get dove, but he's not looking to win lane, and Amo took Aftershock instead of Grasp, so that's more of a team fight room where he's not looking to really contest lane hard. He's just looking to be safe later. So your job as Sedge is just to make sure that Amo is not too far behind, and otherwise you just leave him alone and leave you good. I think that Bot is interesting because I've seen Sona and Nautilus go both ways. If the Sona's very experienced, it can be favored by Sona if she knows Nautilus' range very well, but it's very easy for Nautilus to get that kill at level 6, particularly because Ezreal is not a very strong level 6 champ.
Oh no. Oh, but they do get the Nautilus hook. They aren't able to lock him down, but they do lock down Sona for some nice chip damage. There was an Ivern in the bush. He did, that minion said, "Get down, Mr. President. I will block you from any snipers from that bush there," and so it did. We do see another skirmish top lane. Both ultis coming out from both sides here. Good healing from Renekton. They're gonna be trading back and forth. I'm not sure if Renekton has the damage. Oh, he does. He does get the flash from the Maokai, but it's not enough to avoid the slice and dice. Down goes Maokai, first blood to Renekton.
And that's the issue with Grasp on a top lane versus Aftershock on a tank, is that Aftershock is extremely good for short trades. That's why I prefer it into range matchups.
Because we got another. Oh my! They invaded the Sejuani's blue buff. The Ivern went over the wall with his Q, and then they had the support from bot lane and mid lane roaming up to just take out that blue buff for them, and they're gonna transition this right over to Baron. These guys are high impact, and eBROS are wasting no time for their snowball effect to happen.
I think eBROS recognized that in the last game, they kind of dragged it out in the mid game a little bit, which gave Team Spare Parts a chance to kind of get back into it. And this time they're like, no, we're going to keep our foot on the gas. We've got an early lead again, and we're going to make sure that we keep it. Interestingly, both top laners went first item boots. Ninja Tabby on the Maokai naturally, and then Merc Treads on the Renekton, just make sure he doesn't get popped up.
Nice stun down onto Sona, but Ezreal is doing a lot of great damage. Isn't enough to take out the life of Vayne isn't enough to really take down the chunky Nautilus. And there's an Ivern there as well, just saying, nope, no touching my team. I'm gonna bubble them.
Yeah, it looks like the True Shot Barrage is on cooldown, but that's the issue with, fighting the top lane, but Jelly Roll's gonna back off. That's the issue with the tier first on Ezreal, and also the tier first on Corki. Tier is a power trough, not a power spike, and so it gives you mana, it gives you the ability to sustain in lane well by refunding mana, which is nice, but it doesn't give you any damage unless you're Rise. And so building it is an admission that for a while you're not going to do a lot of damage until you either finish the pickaxe and the mana mune, or you maybe get the sheen if you're Ezreal. It's very much an item you build if you're choosing to scale as opposed to fight early. And as a result, they don't have enough damage to trade back into 2v3.
Very well said. Now, give me your thoughts and your insights. We don't usually see Ivern. I discussed this a little bit earlier, but how do you feel about Ivern jungle? How do you feel it will affect this game?
I think that he's plenty good. He's kind of one of those champions where he can be really powerful because he can do things that other junglers can't, in the sense that he doesn't need to clear the same way. He can spend more time ganking because he doesn't have to farm the same way as other junglers. He brings a lot of disruption, and he builds support items which are a lot cheaper than the items most junglers are going to build, so his build comes online very fast. On the other hand, he's pretty vulnerable to getting invaded, but they didn't draft a team on the side of Team Spare Parts that was really be positioned to invade. So that's not really a concern for them. It's definitely a team supporty build, so it suggests that they're definitely looking to enable the Renekton and the Vayne, as opposed to having Scrambles play more of a carry himself, where he was going more damage oriented last game.
Very well said, very well said. And now we do see the items coming out here, the first couple items. The Ninja Tabbies coming from top side, the Merc Treads going to the Renekton respectively. How do you feel the itemization for both teams, and how is it going to work in their favor?
I like that Amo has already recognized that it's going to be another Bork Renekton, and he's already working on for Animal Fest. If you let your opponents get to a substantial amount of lifesteal,
we might have another engage. The Nautilus does land the hook on the wall. That does get him caught out. There's a Sejuani there. Does get the stand, but here comes Ivern. There goes the Sona ulti. Not enough to stop the all-right assault from Team Spare Parts. They do see more. They do see Lissandra in the bush. There's Corki. He's going back to his team, and it looks like they're going to tip the hat off, and they're going to step away.
I think that was a good play from Whelming. He steps up to start trading with the Vayne aggressively.
Oh, we got an engaged topside here. Is it going to be enough to really take down the Maokai? We do see an engaged mid lane as well. Huge combo from Lissandra. That Corki goes down. Big damage. Here goes a Renekton. He was never done with the Maokai. He knows he's Zoom. He doesn't have any mana. There's no escaping this Crocodilian. He's going to be slicing. He's going to be dicing. He does the Q, finishing off that tree, axing him down to the ground.
Yeah, that's just, excuse me. That's just a good chase down. It looked like the Nature's Grasp was off the mark. It didn't get the root. And in addition, Nature's Grasp, if you point blank, it is not a very long duration CC. So a Jelly Roll is able to get the chase.
We see a quick reset. We do have an Ocean Drake coming up. It's not going to be another Cloud Soul, as that was the first one to drop earlier this game. Predictions on what the next Dragon Soul is going to be this game. Oh, but we do see a Valkyrie coming in from Corki. That is a lot of damage right into the team, taking out the Vayne almost immediately. Here comes the Ivern. Is he going to be able to save the Nocturne? He does send up Daisy. Daisy's going to be smacking. She's a big, nasty rock. And Ivern's just going to pressure the team away, keep them off of the Nautilus, and they're going to get out for safety there. They do see Team Spare Parts going towards the Dragon. I think they're going to pick this one up as well.
I think this is a good strategic play from, not just because of the Dragon, which is obviously good, from Team Spare Parts, but they make the decision to focus their jungle effort in bot lane because Maokai is not really positioned to win the lane against Renekton. It's just not going to happen. And Corki's really a scaling pick. He's not looking to fight early. So bot lane is the lane where they can make the most impact with jungle attention, and they can. Because Duranga had a good game last game, and they're like, look, let's just shut that whole thing down. Let's get our Ezreal some leads, get him some assists. They pick up 1 kill on the Sejuani, 1 on the Sona. And so now the bot lane, collectively for Team Spare Parts, is at about 7,000 gold total, only a few hundred behind the bot lane for eBROS, even though eBROS bot lane, I think they may have got a tower plate. They've got 1 tower plate, and they got the ambient first gold from first tower. So aside from that global gold, it's pretty even in the bot lane.
Very well said. Now, we're gonna have a little bit of a resting phase here, so give me your thoughts, your insights on how both teams are going to be going for the next couple dragons, how Ocean Soul helps each team, and who's gonna be going and collecting them up.
Well, Mountain Soul would be huge for the side of Team Spare Parts because a Maokai and a Sejuani with Mountain Soul become incredibly durable, and that would just allow them to frontline really effectively against the Vayne. Vayne does have true damage, will cut through it, but it's going to shut down the Renekton's damage quite effectively. And because Lissandra's damage tends to kind of come out as an upfront burst, it'll shut down her damage pretty effectively as well. I think that the advantage for objectives probably is on the side of eBROS, not just because they do have an almost 4,000 gold lead, which is pretty significant, but because the Ivern can force them to face check by using his bushes, and then they're just going to walk into the Lissandra and the Renekton damage and the CC there. Particularly because Maokai is not very strong at this point. I think that Team Spare Parts need to kind of contain things as much as they can until Maokai can get some stats and become an effective frontliner. Like, he has 1,500 health. He has a good chunk of armor, but he has no MR. He's still quite squishy. And Sejuani's got a good amount of health, but she's also not really going to be able to tank, you know, a Vayne and a Lissandra and a Renekton simultaneously.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Let's go back to itemization. You do see a lot of scaling items on the side of Team Spare Parts. What's your thoughts and insights on that?
Well, this is the point where those power troughs are starting to turn into power spikes. They both finished the mana immune. Corki has a Sheen. Ezreal does have the gold for Sheen when he packs next. And so now all that mana they're building is being turned into attack damage because of the mana immune passive. And so they're starting to have pretty decent damage. They're still waiting for Triforce. At the mana immune Triforce stage, that's when these two carries will start to do a lot of damage. But they're now able, I think, to fight effectively as long as they're careful to not get hit by like a Lissandra CC chain. But Ezreal can probably duel the Vayne relatively effectively, I'd say.
Very well said.
They have started the Rift Herald. It's been sussed out by a sapling, but I don't think their Team Spare Parts are in a position to contest.
No, we do see a little bit of a gold lead here for the team. Wait, oh, Renekton is going on a 2v1 here. He does ulti for that extra health. He does land in the Q, but with Bramble Best has that reduced healing. He slices and dices, not enough damage to take out that Crocodilian. He does leave, but he flashes back in trying to get that kill on that tree. Not enough damage. Ivern is here as well. He's gonna be dropping down the Shelly and getting him cracking open this top side turret.
And that shows you one of the advantages of Ivern is that how many junglers can really build redemption. I know it was meta on Olaf for a hot minute, but that's like 2,600 gold. Most junglers can't redemption you while they're finishing up the Rift Herald, but Ivern can. So a Jelly Roll doesn't really have to worry that he's in danger. He goes to the aggressive flash, doesn't get the kill, but the redemption heal does keep him going. And he's not really in danger now because he's got the board healing.
Very well.
Sejuani's going for the Warmogs. I don't really like this here. Warmogs is core on Sejuani. It's really good. I really like it. But the fact is that you have two people who are building Borg in Renekton and Vayne. Vayne also has percent HP true damage. There is going to be healing coming out of the Ivern, the Renekton self-healing, the Vayne self-healing. I would have liked to see a Thornmail here instead, because he does have a Claw Pound, but like Warmogs is kind of counterproductive at this point. Building a lot of health with no resists is actually probably hurting you about as much as it's helping you now.
Very good Q combo coming out for Nautilus, but massive damage coming from Corki, coming from Ezreal, coming from Sona. Renekton does TP behind him. He does get the kill onto Corki. He wants more. He's exhausting. He's ulting. He's slicing. He's dicing. He's pressing W. He's pressing Q. Double kill Renekton. And he's taking turn. Lissandra coming in just as an extra teammate there. But they are going to come out huge in that trade.
Yeah, Romain does a really good job in that he, once again, baits the Nautilus by being like, oh, I'm a defenseless Sona, I'm easy to hook, and what Sugatime goes for it, and then again gets collapsed on. But this time they have the double TP to follow up, and I don't think that Team Spirit Parson recognized the TP was coming in until it was too late. Maybe Minor Threat thought he'd be able to confirm the kill on the main time to get out, but Renekton just gets into the back line, does a massive amount of damage, and then the follow-up TP from the Lissandra means that Team Spirit Parson just has to go on full retreat. They force the flash of the Sejuani, they have to give up Dragon. And I think they claimed the bot tower there.
Yeah, Renekton did finish off the bot side turret. Corki forcing to use his package to exit from the Lissandra.
One thing I'm curious about is whether Scrambles will be finishing his jungle item. Ivern doesn't really synergize with any jungle items. Unless you're going the lethal tempo Ivern, you don't do Blood Razor. Warrior has no advantage for him. He's not a tank, doesn't have HP scalings, and doesn't build a lot of tankiness, so he doesn't really benefit from Cinderhulk. Runic Echoes is kind of okay, but like the clearing advantage is lost on him. So I feel like I see a lot of Iverns either sell their Hunter's Talisman late game for another item, or will occasionally build it into Cinderhulk or Runic Echoes. I'm curious to see whether he does that, or whether he just drops the Hunter's Talisman eventually.
Yeah, Ivern's definitely a person to be looking at this game, and definitely someone to watch.
Yeah, the 005 on Scrambles, like this has very much been a case where he's shown that he can play multiple different styles of jungle. He played a kind of initiation, damagey, bruiser set in the last game, and now he's playing full sport with the Ivern, and so he is really changing up his playstyle and showing that he's a multifaceted threat. So they went Knight's Vow on the Sejuani for Monte Carlo method. It's not terrible because it is armor and CDR, but I guess, like, who's he going to put it on? Like, I guess the Ezreal or the Corki, but I would build that later. It is cheap, and I guess if you want health and armor cheaply, it's good, but I feel like he could have gotten more benefit out of other items.
Now, watch this. You see Vayne, you see Ivern, they're sneakily taking this Baron with almost no extra pressure coming out from Team Spare Parts. They have pressure topside with Renekton. They are going to try and roam down, but I think Renekton's going to zone them off, and it's already a little too late there. They're going to be taking a Baron.
I think that they started to realize what was going on, but Vayne excels at taking Baron points of the game. It just takes her a while. And so the question is, does she have a front line that can tank more? But they use Daisy to tank for a while, and then Sugatime comes over, and between his shield and durability, he's plenty able to tank that. So they have a pretty easy time, and that secures a 22-minute Baron for eBROS.
I think they stepped into the car. They're about to go fast.
Yeah,
you don't see like 20-minute Barons too often, but when you do see them, they're gonna hit like a truck.
Yeah, I don't think they, barring a bad team fight for Team Spirit Parts, I don't think that eBROS are really going to be in a position to take an inhib here. But I think it would be very much open for them to get the last two tier 2s, get that extra gold, and look at maybe taking an inhib turret, and leave that opening where the base then is permanently vulnerable. Particularly given that Renekton's a pretty good split pusher, and there's no one who can really match him in the side lane here.
We see the 4-1 split coming out. Renekton being just a huge threat in the bot lane that they had to send 2 or more people just to contest with it.
Yep, they're going in on the Sejuani.
Nice damage onto Sejuani. She does have to get healed to live there. And the Maokai ultimate coming in from the side lane, landing 2 stuns. There goes Maokai. There goes Renekton. This is a huge team fight. Renekton goes in, chunking down Ezreal. Ezreal goes down to Lissandra there. Renekton's looking at Corki. Vayne is looking at Maokai. They're going in. They're going to be attacking the turret now. And they're just zoning off Corki. They're not too worried. But Lissandra goes in, does massive damage to Corki, and down he goes.
Yeah, it was a really good initiation.
5-for-4 exchange. They still have Baron. They want more. Gas. Here they go. The first turret's going down. Second turret's going to be following soon. The Sejuani doesn't have the damage. She can't stop this. They're going in onto the Nexus. They're going to be ending it. GG. eBROS coming in hot.
Yeah, they came off of a week 1 loss.
Very impressive. That game was high action, was very intensive, and it was a lot of farming, but once eBROS got that advantage, got that just utter, like that sneaky Baron near at 20 minutes, they put the pedal to the metal, ran it down mid, and just obliterated the enemy team in the process.
What I'd say is they remind me a little bit of the Noxian equivalent of Hanging with Friends from our washed up one tricks. I've played against Hanging with Friends multiple times, and the thing I've noticed about them is their objective control and objective shot calling is excellent, and when they get ahead, they just choke you out because they're always on objectives before you are. They have the superior position, they have the gold lead, and so they just they play kind of textbook League, but they just knock over the dominoes one at a time. They're like, all right, we're gonna do drag, we're gonna do Rift Herald, we're gonna get a tower, we're gonna look for a team fight, we're gonna do Baron. They basically are always like, okay, we are strong, we are ahead now, let's look ahead to what the next objective we are going to take with this strength is. And it just leads to this sort of very I am inevitable feeling where once they get ahead, they're very good at closing out the game.
Yes, they definitely did gather all the stones, and they snapped their fingers to destroy that Nexus. Final thoughts, Phoenix, on the game overall, the matches overall in this turn up here, and as well as the MVP and Ace.
They were great matches. I'm really excited to see more of eBROS. For most divisions, all teams will be going to playoffs, or the majority of teams will be going to playoffs. 6 teams do go to playoffs, so the 3rd through 6th seeds play each other. The 1st and 2nd seeds get a bye, and then the winners of those first 2 matches play the 1st and 2nd seed, and the winners of those play finals. So I think eBROS should very much have a shot at the 1st or 2nd seed if they aren't in the league currently. MVP and Ace. MVP, I'm going to give to Scrambles, 100%. He mixed up his jungle style on a very niche jungler that you don't see a lot and had a phenomenal game on the Ivern. Ace, I'm going to go with Wambling, I think, the Sona, because I think that Wambling played the mind games against Sugatime really well. Twice he was able to bait Sugatime into bad fights and get a kill by taking advantage of Sugatime knowing that it should be an easy kill for Nautilus if he just hooks the Sona. So he opens himself up to a hook knowing that the fight is in their favor, baits him in, and really played that lane very, very well.
Very well said. Great job from both teams here. When we come back, we're going to watch a Demacia division match between Anarchy Purple versus Sentinels.
Yep, and I will be signing off, so I will see you all later.